It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
We have Professor Alan Dershowitz, of course, Harvard Law School Professor Emeritus. Professor Dershowitz, so much to talk with you about. First, there are still Republicans talking about the 25th Amendment. We have the House Speaker and a number of others. What do you think the chances are? And what are your thoughts about all this stuff going on?
Well, if everything remains the same, it's a zero chance under the 25th Amendment. The 25th Amendment was designed to make sure that people of the president's own party, his assistants, his cabinet, his appointees, are the ones who say he is medically, physically unqualified. That's just not going to happen. There's a big difference between being politically unqualified, which reasonable people can conclude, and kind of what the 25th Amendment had in mind, which is basically what happened with Woodrow Wilson when he had a stroke, or maybe even Ronald Reagan in the last few weeks or months of his presidency when he had Alzheimer's. I don't think we're going to see that with Biden. I think Biden's going to serve out his term unless something happens. Look, when you have people as old as Biden, and indeed even as old as Trump, you never know. You wake up one morning and God intervenes, as both of them have said, and, somebody gets sick, somebody has a heart attack or a stroke. We know that has happened before. So this election is, I believe, more unpredictable than any election in my adult lifetime. I actually predicted that Trump was going to beat Clinton in 2016. I wrote about it because I saw a trend around the world. But this one is so unpredictable. First of all, we don't even know who Kamala Harris is going to pick to be her vice president. That will make a big difference if she moves toward the center and away from the left. That will increase the chances that she could get some independent voters. If she moves toward the left, that diminishes those chances. And so there are many, many factors, too many moving parts to predict.
Professor, talking about God taking friends, we lost a good friend in the last 24 hours.
Who was that?
Well, we lost Rabbi Butman.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that.
Rabbi Shmuel Butman. I think for 25 years in a row, I met him on, and we lit the menorah every December. And
I did that too. I was up on that little, that dangerous thing where you go up in the air and you have to light the candles. I also worked with Rabbi Butman repeatedly at Chabad. In fact, just to bring you up to date on Martha's Vineyard, last night we had 700 people coming to a Chabad celebration for Jewish culture, music, Jewish food, and there were protesters outside. Virulent anti-Semitic, anti-American bigots protesting not Israel, but a Jewish cultural affair on Martha's Vineyard. And you know who the worst bigot in the Senate is now? I have to tell you, it's my former colleague, Elizabeth Warren, who yesterday endorsed enthusiastically Cori Bush. Cori Bush is the most anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, anti-American member of Congress. She's about to lose a primary. But Liz Warren, she's going to support her to the hilt, along with Bernie Sanders.
I am glad he's going to lose the primary.
The Democratic Party. We are really in trouble in this country.
I am glad he's going to lose the primary.
Yeah. Professor Dershowitz, tomorrow, Netanyahu is going to be speaking. You're talking about protesters. There are protesters there today.
Well, Kamala said that he's not going to meet him.
Yeah, Kamala has a prior engagement, and there's some other ones that are saying they're not available. Come on, you have the prime minister, you have the leader of Israel at a very important time. It's a joint session. Everyone's supposed to be there.
Yeah, he called me. We've spoken. His office called me yesterday and asked me if I would please come and have a seat of honor in Congress. Unfortunately, I have a torn hamstring and I'm immobilized. So I apologize and will not be able to be there. I'll watch it on television and I'll be there in spirit. But I hope everybody comes to hear Netanyahu. Learn from him. When he spoke last time, Charlie Rangel, who I know well, and called and he said, I'm not going to the Netanyahu speech. And I said, you have to go. And you can boo him, you can attack him. He went. And then he called me afterward and said, that was one of the best speeches I ever heard. Thank you for making me go. people have to go and listen to him. These are people who would go and listen to, the head of China, the head of Iran, the head of Castro were alive. They would go and cheer him, but they won't go to listen to the Jewish head of the nation state of the Jewish people. He's not going there as a politician. He's going there as the representative of Israel. And if you stay away from that event, you're bashing Israel. And if the Democrats do that, they will pay a price for that. Because remember, the vast majority of Christians in this country support Israel. And of course, the vast majority of Jews do too, but they're a small percentage. But the vast majority of Christians support Israel as well. And so if you stay away from the speech of the prime minister, maybe she'll meet with him privately and maybe there'll be a reason, but she should have been there. She should be there to preside over this important event. I wish I were there, and I apologize for not being able to be there.
Great points, because here she is, anointed, so it seems, about to be. And you would think this would be such an important event for her to be at. Craig Eden.
This sends a very bad and a very dangerous message to him. And especially with the turmoil in Washington and the conflict in that region, they're not going to meet with him. I mean, this is so dangerous.
Yeah, well, they're going to meet with him. I think there are going to be meetings. Hopefully there'll be meetings with Biden, with Harris, and with Trump, because Israel has to be neutral politically. There are many Israelis who have strong points of view on this, but as a country, they have to be neutral, and I think they will be, and will be prepared to work with whoever wins for president. The problem is that historically, support for Israel has been bipartisan, but recently with the Squad, and was Liz Warren, who's a disgrace, it's moved away from bipartisan and toward, if you're a Democrat, hey, if you're a member of the Squad, if you're a member of the left, you have to hate Israel without regard to the merits. And that's what's been going on. When Liz Warren decided to run for the Senate, she came to see me. We talked together. And she said, Alan, I don't know anything about the Middle East. Please teach me something. And I sat down with her for 2 hours. I gave her a copy of my book, The Case for Israel. She didn't learn a darn thing. She just became a total bigot, a total know-nothing opponent of Israel. And she is one of the leaders now in anti-American, anti-Israel, anti-democratic value, anti-Judeo-Christian. She's become a major villain of the United States Senate, along with Bernie Sanders.
Any closing statement, Alan?
Well, I hope that the people will understand that if Liz Warren stands for what the Democrats stand for, good and decent people can't stand for that. And I hope the Democratic Party moves more to the center and away from this kind of anti-American extremism.
Amen.
Yeah, let's hope so. Absolutely.